Welcome to The Explainer. If you're a founder, an executive, or a busy corporate leader juggling, 100 moving parts at once, maximizing your cognitive output, that's not just some nice-to-have goal, it's a daily necessity. Today, we're diving into the actual mechanics of strategic problem solving, and we're going to see why that whole early bird gets the worm conventional wisdom might be entirely missing the mark for some of our absolute highest performers. So let's get right into it and unlock what we like to call the midnight mind.
Let me ask you something. Do you ever feel like your brain finally wakes up only after the rest of the world has gone to sleep? Seriously, be honest here. How many times have you stared at this incredibly complex operational problem all day long, surrounded by your team, only to finally crack the code at like 11:30 p.m., sitting totally alone at your kitchen table? Well, I want to validate a feeling that I know so many busy executives secretly share but rarely talk about. You are absolutely not imagining this late-night surge in strategic thinking. It's a very real, fully documented phenomenon.
To understand exactly why this happens, here's our roadmap for today. First up, the midnight mindset. Then we'll look at the science of cognitive complexity, move on to silencing social noise, and wrap it all up with seeing the full picture.
All right, kicking things off with Section 1, the midnight mindset, where we're redefining the night owl tendency.
For decades, corporate culture has absolutely glorified the 5 a.m. wake-up call. We've kind of treated staying up late as a scheduling flaw, or worse, a lack of discipline. But get this, recent research is completely flipping how we view peak performance. Psychology actually suggests that those who thrive at night often possess a higher cognitive complexity. So this isn't just about, preferring the dark. It's a direct link to advanced, highly complex thinking capabilities. Basically, people who naturally gravitate toward the nighttime are often uniquely wired to hold multiple, competing ideas in their head all at once. And let's be real, that is an absolutely critical skill for anyone leading a modern organization today.
Moving right along to Section 2, the science of cognitive complexity and how we enter a deeper state.
So, to really understand how we reach this deeper state, we've got to talk about cognitive complexity. What does that mean? Well, it's defined as the ability to process hyperconnectivity and enter a deeper thinking state using the silence of the night. Now, if you're a busy executive, hyperconnectivity looks something like this. It's seeing exactly how a supply chain delay in Asia is going to impact your marketing rollout over in Europe, all while you're simultaneously factoring in next quarter's tight budget constraints. It's like a giant puzzle where you're linking seemingly unrelated data points. And as the research clearly points out, to actually pull this off, you need that specific, uninterrupted silence that literally only the night can provide.
And this actually happens through a very specific sequence. Step 1. The circadian rhythm dictates your energy flow. See, for a natural night owl, their biological clock is literally delivering peak mental alertness way later in the day. Then, Step 2. A gifted person's need for solitude is finally met. The research really emphasizes this absolute, fundamental need for isolation if you're going to process deeply complex thoughts. So, when you get those two factors aligning perfectly, your biological energy peak right alongside that environmental solitude, we arrive at Step 3, a deep thinking state is successfully achieved. Honestly, it's a perfect optimized formula for producing top-tier cognitive output.
Which brings us to Section 3, silencing social noise, the ultimate productivity catalyst.
All right, we've established that solitude is necessary, but let's take a step back. What exactly are we retreating from? Well, think about your typical daytime environment. It's characterized by constant social noise, right? Slack messages popping up nonstop, rapid-fire emails, impromptu office drop-ins, back-to-back Zoom meetings. It's just entirely fragmented. It's totally reactive. Your poor brain is constantly context-switching, putting out fires everywhere, and just trying to navigate the social dynamics of your entire team. But then, we have the nighttime environment, characterized by absolute silence, true solitude. The whole world is basically powered down. Nobody is urgently asking you for a quick decision. In this profound quiet, your brain can actually stop reacting, take a breath, slow down, and really stretch out into those much deeper thinking states.
So let's break down the tangible, real-world benefits of this nighttime solitude. First, it completely eliminates all that standard social noise we just talked about. Second, it fulfills a highly capable person's fundamental biological need for isolation. And third, and this is the big one, it creates a massive runway for hyperconnectivity. By entirely removing daytime friction, your ideas can finally link together totally uninterrupted. Now, if you want to truly leverage this as a leader, you've got to actively protect it. So here's one really practical method you can implement tonight. I like to call it the midnight air gap. When you finally enter that late-night thinking state, manually disconnect your computer from the Wi-Fi. Take your phone and put it in a completely different room. Seriously, whatever you do, do not use this golden hour of cognitive complexity to answer leftover daytime emails. Instead, open up an offline document or, even better, grab a physical notepad to map out your strategic vision. You have to protect that solitude from the digital social noise that's always trying to sneak its way back in.
And that leads us perfectly into Section 4, seeing the full picture, the bottom line output.
Because look, at the end of the night, all of this cognitive complexity and solitude, it has to translate into actual results for your business. The ultimate payoff here is that you finally get to see the full picture, completely without interruption. Think of it this way. When you're managing at a really high level, you are essentially looking down at a massive chessboard. But during the day, all that social noise we talked about, it only lets you see maybe 1 or 2 squares at a time. You're constantly just reacting to the piece immediately in front of you. But the silence of the night, that beautifully uninterrupted solitude, that's the exact thing that allows you to hover above the board, connect the dots, and really see the entire strategic landscape. And honestly, that is exactly how you end up solving those complex business problems that absolutely no one else can figure out.
So as we wrap up, I want to leave you with this somewhat provocative thought to help you analyze your own cognitive habits. If silence is what truly unlocks the full picture, is standard social noise actually costing us our best ideas? I mean, we spend so much time and energy optimizing our 9-to-5 workflows, right? But perhaps for the real complex problem solvers among us, the most valuable executive time actually happens long after the office goes dark. So maybe it's time to rethink your relationship with the night. Protect your solitude and really start leveraging that midnight mind. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer.